Welcome to Growing Your Team, a podcast designed for small business owners seeking to grow their company with the help of employees and contractors. Your time is limited, which means growing and leveraging teams is essential for business success. The Growing Your Team podcast is the place to learn tips and techniques designed to help you know when it's the right time to hire, how to select perfect fit team members, and how to maximize productivity while creating a positive work environment. Drawing from her 10-plus years of leadership and hiring experience, here is your host, Jamie Van Kuyk.
Hello, Jamie Van Kuyk here, and welcome back to the Growing Your Team podcast. Today, I'm going to share with you 3 reasons why you need a hiring strategy the next time you go to hire a team member for your business. And these tips can apply for whether you're hiring a contractor or an employee. Because even when you're hiring a contractor, you still want to make sure they're the right fit. Otherwise, you might be throwing your money away when you could be getting a good return on your investment. So let's jump into the reasons. So reason number 1 why you need a hiring strategy is that it helps you take the emotions out of the process. I'm going to be blunt here. Sob stories don't equal abilities. And let me tell you something from this last year and a half-ish now of hiring team members where COVID is taking place. There are a lot of sob stories. But even before that, there are people that when they're interviewing, they want to tell you their story. They want to tell you their background. There's people that you're going to look at their resume or listen to them during an interview and you're going to say, oh my goodness, this person has had such a hard time. I want to do something good for them. And let me tell you, that's not the right thing to do. You cannot hire someone just because you're emotionally attached to them. I'm going to remind you of one of my first hiring experiences, interviewing experiences. I was in charge of filling a position on my team right after I became a new manager. And with that, I had been selected to go and represent our company at a job fair. I went to this job fair, met this candidate, and let me tell you, I was hooked on his story. I can remember to this day that this candidate, he walked up to me. He was wearing this suit that you could tell was a big investment for him. But I could also tell that it really wasn't high quality and it wasn't the best fitting. But he put it on and walked up because he was going to find his job at this job fair. And I was hooked. I said, yes, we are definitely interviewing him, and quickly had the team bring him in for an interview when we arrived back at the office. So when his interview in the office was done, I was riding up the elevator with another manager, and she asked me my thoughts. And I said, I want to hire him. And then she asked me, but can he do the job? And that's when I sit there and said, yeah, I don't know. And the truth was, he was not right for the position. And what she said to me at that moment in time was, it's your responsibility to hire the right person for this position. It's not your responsibility to give him a job. And that really stood out to me. Just because he had this story about, in this particular case, how he was the first person in his family to graduate from college, that he worked multiple jobs to get himself through college. None of that meant I needed to hire him. And the truth was, he was not the right person for the position. And I needed to pass. So you have to remember, Do not hire people based on emotions, and a hiring strategy helps you avoid that. It helps you figure out exactly what you should be identifying in each candidate to determine if they are the right fit. So that way you feel confident that you're hiring the right person and not just hiring someone based off their storytelling abilities or their abilities to evoke emotions in you. All right, so reason number 2 that you need a hiring strategy when you go to hire is that it helps you sort candidates quickly. Lately, there's been extreme opposites happening with positions that are posted. Either people are getting flooded with candidates or they're getting very few. And in either scenario, the same thing can happen. You get overwhelmed with looking at candidates, or you get overwhelmed by the lack of candidates, and you just start giving people an opportunity to interview based off things that do not matter. But when you have a hiring strategy, you know exactly what is needed for a candidate to qualify for an interview. And therefore, you can easily say yes, no, yes, no. So even if you have to review 100 plus resumes, which has recently happened to some of my clients, you don't feel overwhelmed because you can quickly sort them. Or if you're only getting a handful of resumes, you're not being swayed to say, oh, this is the best I'm going to get. I guess I better interview him. That you're only interviewing the people who are right to be interviewed. All right. And then number 3 of the 3 reasons why you need a hiring strategy is it will help you make sure you're getting the right talent. So we talked a little bit before about people having emotional stories. They bring out that emotion in you. But there's also this other thing that happens throughout the hiring process where people that you interview are amazing. You're like, oh my goodness, why would this person even apply for my position? You feel like they're better than you could ever have expected. But, and I'm sure you knew there was a but coming, what they're amazing in is not what you need. But if you don't have a hiring strategy and you don't know exactly what you need for your business, what happens? You get blindsided by their amazingness and you hire them, and then they struggle in the role. They can't do what you need. They're not proficient at what you need. They don't have the skill set to grow within your company. And you're then feeling, wait, but this person is amazing. If they can't do it, maybe nobody can. So one of the things that you probably heard me say before, but I'm going to repeat it over and over and over again, is just because someone is amazing at what they do does not mean they're right for you. And if they're not right for you, do not hire them because it is a waste of your money. And when you have a hiring strategy, you can then go through and figure out, do they have what you need? And if they don't get the job, no matter how great they are. I recently had a client that went through this. They interviewed someone and said, here are all this candidate's strengths. And then we compared it against the strengths that they needed for the position. And guess what? They didn't match. And instead of hiring on a team member that was not the right fit, that would drain their energy, drain their money, drain their resources, and still not produce the work that was needed, they passed and hired someone else. So a hiring strategy helps you each step of the way identify the right people that you need to spend your time on. And then finally, the right person to hire. You don't want to waste your time on candidates that you could have figured out in an earlier step in the process that they were not worth your time, right? Because you're limited on time. You don't want to conduct any more interviews than you really have to. And you don't want to waste your time, money, and energy and other resources onboarding and training someone that is not right for the role. So don't be blindsided by emotions. Don't get overwhelmed by having to review resumes, or don't feel like you're stuck with, whatever comes your way. And don't hire someone just because they're amazing if they're not amazing at what you need. Instead, it's time to develop a hiring strategy so you can get the right help for your business when you need it. Are you ready to hire a new team member for your business, and you want to ensure you hire the person who can succeed in the role, make you happy, and positively impact your bottom line? Then set up time and let's talk, because this is exactly how I help business owners like you. When you go through my hire framework, not only will you learn how to attract candidates who have the passion you desire, but you'll be able to identify and select candidates who have the skills you need and can succeed in the role. Going through this consultant process not only helps you find the right new hire for your current open position, but it teaches you how to repeat this process with every new position you add to your company as it continues to grow. So if you're a small business owner who is ready to hire, has a rough idea of the position you need to add, and you're tired of going through the hiring process only to end up with bad fitting team members, then let's talk. Send me an email at jamie@growingyourteam.com. That's Jamie, Jamie, @growingyourteam.com, or head on over to growingyourteam.com/jumpstart and let's talk about your hiring needs.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Growing Your Team with your host, Jamie Van Kuyk. Be sure to subscribe and head on over to growingyourteam.com to connect, access the show notes, and discover more ways to hire and leverage your perfect fit team.